Hello folks, Rob Dreemeyer here. Welcome to Broadway Barfly. I am trying something completely new today. This is going to be what I guess the kids call a reaction video because I am trying for the first time some zero proof spirits, and I'm going to be mixing up a non-alcoholic Manhattan. Now I have no idea what to expect, so stick around and let's see what happens. If you're a theater fan who loves a great cocktail, click that subscribe button because Broadway Barfly is the channel for you. A friend of mine and I were recently walking around the Upper West Side of Manhattan, and we stumbled upon a liquor store that had a sign outside that said free tasting, so we went right in. Well, I'm a little embarrassed to say that it took us a few minutes to realize we were in a store that only sold non-alcoholic beverages. I was looking around and I didn't recognize any labels on the shelves, and so when I asked the salesperson, where's the booze? She said, oh, no. We only sell zero proof spirits. And I think she saw the disappointment register on our faces, but she did offer us the tasting anyway. And what they were sampling that day were the makings of a gin and tonic. We first tasted a bitter carbonated mixer that tasted sort of like a very bitter grapefruit soda. And then they gave us a sample of their zero proof gin, which, if I'm being completely honest, tasted sort of like flat lemon lime soda. I think they even said as much, like, oh, this tastes like flat 7-Up. But they said, no, you have to taste it together. So they mixed us up their non-alcoholic gin and tonic, and I have to say it was a really, really nice drink. It was well balanced in flavors, it was lightly carbonated, it was very sophisticated, really. And so we started talking further. I told them all about Broadway Barfly. I got them to subscribe. So if you're watching the video, welcome. And we started talking Manhattans. And before you know it, we left the store with the makings for a non-alcoholic Manhattan. So what I'm going to do is give each of these things a taste on their own, sort of like we did in the store. Then I'm going to mix up a non-alcoholic Manhattan and we'll see what we get. So let's start with the bourbon and see what we have. Is this a screw or is it a cork? Oh, looks like a cork. Here we go. Smells like bourbon, faintly, but has a bourbon-like smell, kind of caramely. Almost an apple cider taste to it. Certainly you can taste some char from a barrel. And there's no burn. Like they would say in Kentucky, there's no Kentucky hug, but you have a slight aroma of bourbon. You have it's a char in a barrel. Something that I would say tastes a little bit like a hard cider without the burn. So, all right, there's our bourbon. Let's go ahead and see what we have with our vermouth. Okay, so this says it's a non-alcoholic bittersweet aperitif. Let's see what we have. Interesting. Definitely has a taste that doesn't match its aroma. It has an earthy quality to it. It's not particularly sweet. It is not grape forward like you would expect some sort of wine to be. It is quite nice, actually. I'm surprised. I wouldn't have expected that just from the nose of it. Well, so here we have two interesting non-alcoholic spirits. So let's put them together and see what we have. So I'm going to mix this just as I would a normal Manhattan, and I'll tell you, Manhattans are one of my favorite go-to cocktails, so I am really curious to see what this turns out like. We'll start with 2 ounces of our zero proof bourbon, 1 ounce of our bittersweet aperitif, and a couple dashes of bitters. I should point out, as you probably know, bitters do have alcohol in them, so if you're making this zero proof cocktail for someone who does not drink alcohol, just be aware that even in a few dashes of bitters, there is a little bit of alcohol in it. So we'll give this a stir with some ice. Give it a strain into our glass. Well, it looks like a Manhattan. And garnish it as I would any other Manhattan with a Luxardo cherry. Okay, for the moment of truth, here we go. Cheers. The bitterness of the bittersweet aperitif is fairly prominent, and it kind of overpowers the nice appley, caramely taste of the bourbon. You still get that, you know, charred taste, which is nice. And if I'm being completely honest, there is a little bit of an aftertaste that I'm not sure is a good thing. Let's try it one more time. There's definitely no burn, which you would expect. You know, I don't love it, I don't hate it. I can see why people would want to enjoy something like that if they weren't drinking alcohol. So let's go over some pros and cons before we wrap this up. One of the definite cons, I have to be honest, is the price. Both of these bottles together cost just over $80. One was $39 and one was $37. Now the salespeople there tried to tell me that that was comparable to a good bottle of bourbon and a good bottle of vermouth, but I don't know where they're doing their shopping, because I know you can get a decent bottle of bourbon for less than $40 and usually less than $30, and you can certainly get a decent bottle of vermouth for less than $40. You could probably get 2. So this is definitely a con. I think this is probably overpriced for what it is. And the pro is that I did like both of these by themselves. I could see sipping this over some ice, maybe actually with some apple cider. And the tag on this says to enjoy this with a tonic or a spritz of club soda, and I could totally see that being quite good, also with maybe a twist of lemon or something. So while I'm not 100% crazy about this as a Manhattan, I do like each of these by themselves. And as far as non-alcoholic spirits go in general, I do think they're a good idea for a couple of reasons. They offer you something to serve to people who don't drink alcohol that's a little bit elevated and feels like a cocktail. They are good for designated drivers, obviously. And I would say also is that I could totally see drinking these outside, you know, in the middle of the day on a deck or by a pool or something, when the idea of a cocktail is really great, but you know in your mind you probably shouldn't have alcohol in the 80-degree sun. So I could see that being a nice alternative. So all in all, yeah, there we go, our first reaction video, my first time trying non-alcoholic spirits. If any of you out there have experience with non-alcoholic spirits or these particular brands, or these particular products, let me know in the comments below, because now that I have them open, I should find other ways to use them. So until the next time, cheers. If you enjoyed the video, why not give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends? Feel free to leave your comments and click that subscribe button, because there's a lot more Broadway Barfly to come.